In a significant development toward resolving the ongoing conflict, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has accepted a U.S. proposed 30-day ceasefire. This initiative, brokered by the United States, aims to pause hostilities and create a conducive environment for diplomatic negotiations.
Що зараз ми всі почули з Росії дуже передбачувані, дуже маніпулятивні слова Путіна у відповідь на ідею тиші на фронті. Він фактично готує відмову станом на зараз. Путін, звісно, боїться сказати прямо президенту Трампу, що хоче продовжувати цю війну. Хоче вбивати українців. І тому Путін часто так робить. Не каже «ні» напряму, але робить так. Так, що практично тільки все затягує та унеможливлює нормальні рішення. Час тиші підготувати відповіді на всі питання про довгострокову безпеку та реальний надійний мир і покласти на стіл план завершення війни.
Despite these diplomatic efforts, the situation on the ground remains precarious. Russia continues its military operations, particularly in the Kursk region, where Ukrainian forces face encirclement. Russian President Vladimir Putin has expressed conditional support for the ceasefire, but has stipulated specific terms for its implementation. He insists that Ukraine must halt its mobilization efforts and that Western nations cease their military assistance to Kyiv. Putin also demands the surrender of Ukrainian forces currently encircled in the Kursk region, offering to spare their lives if they comply.
We agree with the propositions to stop hostilities, but we proceed from the fact that such ceasefire should be such that would lead to a permanent peace.
These conditions have raised concerns about Russia's commitment to a genuine cessation of hostilities, with critics suggesting that Putin may be leveraging the ceasefire to solidify strategic gains.
Are we going to have to let them go after all the atrocities they have perpetrated against civilians? Or the Ukrainian leadership will command them to lower their weapons, drop their weapons and just surrender?
U.S. President Donald Trump has been actively involved in the ceasefire negotiations, engaging directly with Putin to advocate for the cessation of violence.
Thank you very much. We've had some pretty good news coming out of Russia. We're hearing good things. Who knows, but we're hearing good things. They're in a very strong position militarily with quite a few Ukrainian soldiers, but hopefully nothing will happen with that. I've asked them not to let anything happen, and I hope that nothing happens.
Trump described his recent discussions with the Russian leader as good and productive, emphasizing his administration's dedication to facilitating peace in the region.
But I feel that Russia is going to make a deal with us, I hope. We've spoken with President Putin, we've spoken with a lot of people, and Ukraine is waiting. I'm very concerned about the field. In the field, there's a very vulnerable group of Ukrainian soldiers right now that are actually surrounded. And that's not good, because we don't want them to die. Enough people have died. So we'll see what happens with regard to all of it. But I'm getting, from the standpoint about a ceasefire and ultimately a deal, some pretty good vibes coming out of Russia.
However, some analysts caution that Trump's rapport with Putin could be exploited by the Kremlin to achieve favorable outcomes without making significant concessions. In conclusion, while the acceptance of the 30-day ceasefire by President Zelenskyy represents a hopeful step toward de-escalation, its successful implementation depends on the genuine commitment of all parties involved. The international community must remain vigilant and prepared to hold violators accountable to ensure that this ceasefire serves as a foundation for lasting peace in the region.